I would get tossed in the clink. I would be like, all right, we're gonna raise some money for charity to get BioWare to develop a expansion to the older public to let us change from light to dark and dark to light, and
Mm.
we'd make like 35,000, and I'd hit the border, dude.
Yeah.
I'd be gone.
I'm
I'm giving that money to charity.
In all seriousness, though, I'm telling you, I really, I do think that actually might be a selling point for me if they had that option included, like what we were just talking about, like to like have an actual, well, dare I say it after our discussion last time about a morality scale. I mean, that would be.
And there is a morality scale in the game, but it's the basic binary choice system that you have in every other BioWare
But you
game.
don't, like, nothing changes. You start out as a Sith, you end as a Sith, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
that's a major problem. That makes no sense. That means, like, if you can't change, then why even have a morality scale? That makes no sense.
Yeah, and you know what? It's weird too, because on my character at least, if I collect enough dark side points, if I do enough terrible stuff in the game, I'll show dark side corruption on my character.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I can ever go Sith.
Like, you would basically look like Shepard in Mass Effect when he's, like, all renegade-ish
Yeah,
and
when
has
he's
red
all
eyes
renegade.
and shit.
You
Yeah.
know, you'll have like scars, and you'll have like the Sith eyes and all
Yeah,
that good stuff.
you know, I feel like that's okay. I don't want to get too off topic here, but that just goes back to the other problem I have with morality scales. It's nice to be able to have the freedom to choose things like that, but it makes absolutely no sense in any game with a morality scale that if you start going that bad, then all of a sudden you decide to go good. That just doesn't make any sense. Your character wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean-
and you could say that for yourself. I mean, how other people play their characters is
sure.
totally up to them.
Well, I
I
just-
think that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I feel like a game. See, again, I haven't played SWTOR, obviously, so I guess I can't really say, but I feel like that could work okay, where you make several different choices. That works in a game like Skyrim, where like the character is basically a cipher for you. But a game, I hear a cat.
Yeah, little bastard. I swear, I knew I should have locked him out of the room too. I knew it. But I was like, no, I love you. I'll let you stay. You're cute. And the second I start recording, he just starts meowing like caterwauling, like nobody's business.
Yeah, it's
I'm
true.
gonna turn you into a purse.
Well, but just like what I was saying though is like with a game like Mass Effect and maybe with SWTOR, I mean, because your character doesn't really talk in SWTOR. The character is you, basically, right? They're a cipher for you, right?
Basically.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
that's
kinda, sorta.
I mean,
in a
that's.
roundabout way.
I mean, that's kind of okay, I guess. I don't know. I feel like though, if you're playing an actual character and you're shaping their story, even though their personality is in place, then it doesn't work. But then if you're playing a character that's basically you, then you can do that all you want, and it probably you could justify it in your own mind, so it doesn't have that weird disconnect.
Yeah, well, there is no personality in place here. Basically,
Yeah.
you're filling the character with your own
Okay.
personality.
So that
just
works
like
okay,
with
then.
any good MMO.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Sure.
The only problem I have is that I want to go back to the point where you said, you know, you wouldn't go through the whole game doing terrible things and at the end decide you want to be good.
Unless you're Darth
And-
Vader, yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to bring up Darth Vader.
So,
I was going
okay.
to say, well, Vader did it. you
Yeah,
know,
see,
and
I
he
was,
pulled it off.
yeah, I was thinking about that as I was saying. I was like, if we weren't
But
talking about
one
Star
good
Wars, a
act
point.
shouldn't redeem you for
Exactly.
you know,
Well, I
hours
guess
and hours of gameplay of treachery
then,
and
yeah,
you know,
and
stuff like
evilness. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
let me
evilness.
let me rephrase this then. I guess I would say that if you, I guess that I would want the context of the choice of good acts to change. Like people would be like, "Why are you being so good when you are clearly a terrible person?" That kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like-
honestly, I've never been able to go evil in a game.
Yeah, it just
I
seems too
Can't
ridiculous.
bring myself to do it unless I mean there have been a couple moments like the Renegade moment in Mass Effect 2 where you kick Homeboy out the window.
Yeah, I can never not do that.
Yeah, I had to do it. Or when you punch the reporter.
Yes.
Absolutely had to do it.
Yeah,
But
I did that.
as far as true evil, I've never been able to do it.
The only time I've ever done it, and that was because I was able to shape the story to my liking because I was, so great, was in Fallout 3. I blew up Megaton. Because it was actually there was actually a story here of sorts. It's
That's
really
true evil, dude.
it's really nerdy, but there was a story. The first time I played Fallout 3, I got really invested in the story, and And you know what? I shouldn't even have to say spoiler alert at this point. The game's 4 fucking years old, so who cares? If you don't like it, listeners, if you haven't played it, then tough shit. When your dad, aka Liam Neeson, the most likable actor from Ireland ever, kicks it and dies.
He's got a legendary schwanz too.
I'm sure he does. I don't know, but like when he kicks it and dies, and you have to escape from all the baddies, and you're running through the sewers, I'm like really pissed off because I'm like, I went to all that trouble to find him, and now he's dead. What the fuck? And then I had Dogmeat with me, and then he got fucking killed by a bunch of like mutants, and I was really pissed off. I got even more pissed off and really upset about that. So I was like, fuck this. I'm so fucking angry, and I went to Megaton and blew it up. Because I was just so pissed off. And I didn't even really register that I was playing a game anymore. That's probably the most sucked in I've ever been to a game.
You're
was that
kind
moment.
Of a terrible person.
Yeah, I know, but I was just but then like I thought about it when I did it, I was like, wait a second. This actually seems like a realistic character arc because that happens. The character becomes evil, and then the rest of the game I'm spending basically redeeming myself.
Unstable, mentally freaking just psychotic character arc. Are you kidding? Your dog died, so you killed
and my
people?
my dad that I've been searching for God knows how long at that point.
Oh, for crying out loud!
I'm just saying,
I'm not inviting you over for a barbecue anytime soon. I'll tell you that much right now. It's like you get some undercooked chicken or something and snap out.
It actually made for a really good story though, on a really good experience for a story on my part though. So I really liked that. But anyway.
No, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I did the same thing with Fable 2.
Okay.
When they killed my dog.
Yeah.
That I lost it. I was like, dude, I lost it even before that. Like the first hour of that game when some dude comes up and kicks my dog, I was like, you did not just kick my fucking dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, I killed him extra hard, dude. I put emphasis into it.
Oh yeah, you slashed his body on the ground. I do that.
Oh god, I teabagged him.
Yeah, no, I after Dogmeat bit it, so to speak, every time I killed one of those mutants, I always killed them really hard because I really fucking hated them.
I hated those guys.
Yeah, they just.
You're talking about they had the shells, right?
Not the big ones.
You talking about those, or are you talking about like the super mutants?
No, I'm talking about the ones that are in the sewers, the ones that are basically corpses or zombies.
Oh, okay.
Those ones fucking killed my dog, and I was pissed. But yeah, I just think it's kind of interesting actually, because it's interesting that a game can do that to you, where you can actually want to where it seems like it would make more sense to do a certain thing based on your play experience. I even kind of had that with most recently with Mass Effect 3, because at the end of my last game of Mass Effect 2, I lost a lot of people, including Tali, who I had a romance with. So I was thinking to myself as I was playing this, well, Shepard wouldn't be a happy guy in this game. And he clearly is sad, regardless of what you do. But because of that, I went the more renegade route while playing Mass Effect 3. And it seemed to make a lot of sense to me as far as story progression goes.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
And I feel like we just kind of imprint ourselves onto our characters a lot, and I don't know. And I feel like, there's a lot of opportunities with that with a game like SWTOR, especially if they do something like, the ability to fall to the dark side. Like, if they could actually do something that would give you incentive to follow the dark side, that would be a really interesting mechanic they could add to the game.
Absolutely. Well, you have all these companions in the game, and one of my companions, Kira, she actually has ties to the Sith, and of course, you have the option to flirt with her, and eventually fall in love and do the nasty and all that good stuff. Just like any good BioWare game, you have to have the sex in there somewhere. Yeah, and I think that would be a great arc to have her be like the catalyst for a fall to the dark side,
and have it not suck like the prequels.
Yeah, exactly. If there is at any point in time, if there is a discussion about sand, I will hit the unsubscribe button immediately.
Yeah, unless of course
it's sand.
Unless
it's rough
and coarse and irritating, gets everywhere.
Gets in my Jedi crack.
Yeah, well, I think
what's
really funny though is if they did that. And they did it in a self-aware way, that would be really awesome. They'd be thumbing their nose at Lucas. It'd be so great.
If they just totally slammed to Lucas?
Yeah, and then he finds out about it, and then next day you find out that SWTOR has been shut down.
Oh yeah, the license gets pulled immediately.
And then people
Lucas
interview.
Gets all emo and just loses his shit all over BioWare. That would be fantastic. It would be worth it.
He gets interviewed. He's like, okay, I thought that my fans were gonna always, say bad things about me, but I never thought that a company I placed so much faith in would lose faith in me too, and always say nasty things about me and all that.
Whatever. Lucas probably hates freaking the Old Republic. He hated Star Wars Galaxies. He probably hates the Old Republic. I don't know. I've never heard him comment on it.
He probably hated KOTOR and KOTOR 2 because like those stories
were so much better.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything he ever did.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that the expanded universe of Star Wars is better than. Well, I don't want to say it's better than the original movies, but it's pretty much better than anything else that has ever had a Star Wars.
It's
license.
better than anything that Lucas has done post Empire. There's some expanded universe that's better than Jedi.
Oh yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think Jedi's bad, but it's definitely cannot hold a candle to the first two.
Right. Okay, should we gotta stop. We could talk Star Wars the rest of the
We've done it so many times. I mean, we should just move on to actual news instead of speculation as to where games could go.
Again, to where BioWare is going to go next.
Yeah.
It is interesting that every week we talk about BioWare now because they have Mass Effect 3 out and an MMO that's constantly being updated. So they're in the news so much more now.
To be perfectly fair too, they, for all the complaints we might have about them, and what a lot of fans have about them, they really have changed the game, so to speak, about video game narrative. I mean, they really have revolutionized a lot of ways you can tell stories in video games.
Oh yeah, they've forced everybody to up their game.
It's true.
Everybody.
Yeah.
The bar is set so much higher for storytelling in games because of BioWare that it's shocking the difference that we've seen from now and 10 years ago.
Yeah, people are going to be people are complaining now about the Mass Effect 3 ending. It's going to be it'll be remembered as a silly controversy within 10 years probably.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's talk some Resident Evil 3 and their campaigns. I'm gonna
6. Resident Evil 6.
Did I say Resident Evil 3?
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we killed the Nemesis a long time ago.
Whatever, man. I got my numbers all screwed up. Shut up.
Okay. Well, the number 3 is actually relevant because in Resident Evil 6, apparently, we're going to be seeing 3 individual campaigns. Which, in the show notes, I think it's kind of interesting that you said that you find this really confusing. I actually think this is kind of cool because what it's doing is, in my view, doing exactly what Resident Evil 2 did so well, and that's tell 2 separate stories about the same event. And they're telling 3 separate stories about the same event in this case. And I think that's really cool. Because what's going to happen is, each campaign you play as one character, and there is co-op for each of them with some other characters. But the main characters you play as are Chris Redfield, then Leon Kennedy, and then Jack Mueller, I think you were saying? Is that how you say his name?
He's the son of
Wesker.
Albert Wesker.
Yeah, and
who we actually killed in a QuickTime event in the last game.
See, I don't remember doing that, but I really don't remember Resident Evil 5 except for its blatant racism and its
don't remember the lava, the pit, the fight in the lava pit?
I just remember how fucking boring that final boss fight was. That's just I really didn't like Resident Evil 5 that much. I just kept going downhill progressively in that when I was playing that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so there's gonna be 3 separate campaigns with co-op in each of them, which I think is cool. If the inventory management's any better than the last game, it'll be great. I actually, if I remember right, it actually was laid out that that there's actually going to be different sort of play styles in each of the stories. Like Chris Redfield's campaign is going to be more action-y, and Leon Kennedy's is going to be more, tailored to like the old school Resident Evil style, like more slower paced, more like scary, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't really know exactly what's going to be going on with the Jake Mueller story, but yeah, just the fact that they're splitting it up like that is a very, in my opinion, clear homage, and maybe more than homage, clear mechanic taken from Resident Evil 2.
Right. Well, my only thing is that I have so much problem keeping track of where the story of Resident Evil's been that having 3 separate stories, even though they're interwoven and we're going to see a lot of crossing paths and whatnot, it's going to be a headache, man.
And
it's going to be rough.
You made a good point earlier too, and it's in the show notes about how there's arguably now that there's 3 campaigns, it's going to be 3 times the DLC and costume packs because this is Capcom. Let's not.
Absolutely, they're the worst offender.
Oh yes, that's fine. As long as we're not buying these campaigns separately, though, I don't really care. What I'm hoping.
Multiplayer? I'm waiting to see if we're going to have to pay for multiplayer again.
Did we have to pay for multiplayer in Resident Evil
5's multiplayer was like an extra $5.
It was unless you bought it new though, right?
No, I think it was just $5 across the board. It didn't release with the game, I believe.
I don't know about. Yeah, I actually never played Resident Evil 5 online. I only played it locally, so I actually couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Locally, locally you didn't have to pay for it.
I'm not talking about co-op. I'm talking about actual multiplayer.
Oh, like a deathmatch?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh,
I'm not even. I didn't